As a housewife, you should follow my instructions. For now, I don't like renting, so go contract a new house for us. I'm counting on you. I'm going to enjoy gambling with the money I've got. You always act so high and mighty. My name is Jenny. I live with my husband, Kevin, and I'm dedicated to housework as a housewife. We don't have children, and many people envy my life as a housewife. But in reality, I spend a lot of time and effort on many things. One big reason is that Kevin's mother has been hospitalized for a long time at a local hospital, and I help take care of her. My mother-in-law is lonely and relies on me for trivial things. For example, the day after visiting her, she requested, "Hey, this pajama feels a bit uncomfortable. Buy me a new one next time." Her requests often create a lot of additional work for me. Moreover, she comes up with various reasons to ask for things. I suddenly want some sweets. If I don't eat them today, I might feel sick. Be sure to buy them. Such specific demands are not uncommon. These demands might not seem significant, but without daily visits, she feels a deep loneliness. Since I realized this, I've started visiting the hospital daily. It's less mentally taxing for me to visit voluntarily than to rush there when called. In fact, I never hear anything unpleasant at the hospital. My mother-in-law is just lonely and actually a very kind person. That's why I actively do what I can for her and enjoy my daily visits to the hospital as one of my pleasures. One evening during dinner, Kevin suddenly said to me, "The movers are coming next month, so make sure you pack properly." I was shocked by this unexpected statement. I immediately responded, "Movers? Packing? What do you mean? Is someone moving, or do I have to help with something?" Kevin replied with a wry smile, "No, that's not it. You're really oblivious, aren't you?" Unable to grasp his true intentions, I was confused and asked him more. Without hesitation and with a cruel smile, he revealed an unbelievable fact. "I sold this house. It was in your name, but it was easy to handle as your husband. I forged the power of attorney well, and it was sold smoothly," he declared. I was completely shaken and exclaimed, "What, you sold it? This house? Why?" Kevin explained calmly, "Because I needed money. I needed funds for my mother's care. Do you think there's any other reason to sell the house? You're really oblivious." Moreover, Kevin revealed that his company was struggling due to the impact of the coronavirus and was on the brink of bankruptcy. As a result, the company was forced to downsize, and he had been laid off a few months ago. However, he had kept this fact from me out of male pride. That's why he had been killing time gambling. Male pride. I can't believe you didn't tell me you got laid off and went gambling instead of reapplying for a job. There's no problem, right? I've been earning for the family all this time. Allow me some free time too. When I blamed him, Kevin got agitated and quickly explained the reason he sold the house. "Actually, I was aiming for a big win at the casino, but I couldn't win. There's no severance pay, so I have no funds. That's when I thought selling the house would make money." "But why would you sell my house without asking?" Sigh. Don't act so high and mighty. You're just a housewife. Kevin blamed me for not working. In reality, I'm busy with my mother-in-law's care and can't work. But before the care, I worked properly and saved money. This house was also bought with those savings and support from my parents. Moreover, it was Kevin who asked me to quit my job and take care of his mother. He seems to have completely forgotten the time when he apologized to me shyly. "Please. My mother is important, but due to long-standing disagreements, we both accumulate stress. That's why I want to entrust her care to you, Jenny." It was because Kevin told me that I quit my job, which I loved, and bought a house near his former workplace and the hospital where his mother is hospitalized. Anyway, what's sold is gone. Kevin said this and began preparing to leave. As a housewife, you should follow my instructions. For now, I don't like renting, so go contract a new house for us. I'm counting on you. I'm going to enjoy gambling with the money I've got. You always act so high and mighty. Ignoring my anger, Kevin left the house in high spirits in the middle of our conversation. I rushed to Kevin's room to look for the contract. It was hard to believe, but there was definitely a real estate sales contract there. Kevin probably needed cash immediately. He had sold the house at a price far below the market value. Moreover, I discovered an even more surprising fact. However, just standing there dumbfounded wouldn't start anything. The fact that Kevin had sold the house remained unchanged. If I didn't take action, I would really end up losing the house. With that realization, I started packing as Kevin had instructed. But I wasn't just following his instructions. Gradually, I was also advancing a plan for revenge. About 2 weeks later, Kevin called in a panic. "Hey Jenny, where are you right now?" I deliberately responded slowly to the phone. "Is there a problem? Why are you in such a hurry? Don't talk so slowly. Why is only my stuff left in the house? It's strange that all the appliances and furniture are gone. Also, I got a call from the hospital on my smartphone. I wonder why. It's the end of the month, and the hospital bills for my mother are unpaid. Pay them quickly, and explain what's going on with the house. I won't forgive you. Give me our new house's address." Kevin was still being intimidating under these circumstances, but I couldn't just stay silent. I clearly and deliberately told Kevin the following: "Our new house's address? What are you talking about? Shouldn't you be living with Mia?" "What? How do you know about Mia? Why should I have to pay the hospital fees? I shouldn't have to bear the medical costs for someone else's mother. Stop calling me to ask such obvious things. I'm busy unpacking at my new place. The new house costs $1 million. So I'm taking a lot of care to make sure it remains spotless, even as I unpack my things." "What? $1 million? How did you prepare such money? And my mother isn't someone else's mother. My mother is your mother too. What are you saying about Mia?" Despite my calm explanation, Kevin seemed to struggle to understand. But I had no intention of explaining things to him kindly. Talking to you is a waste of time. If you really want to know, come to the address I will tell you in a week. Listen carefully and take notes, okay? Wait a minute. I could hear Kevin searching for something on the other end of the phone. I waited for him to quiet down, then gave him the address of the law office. A week later, Kevin appeared at the lawyer's office, clearly in a bad mood. "Hey Jenny, why are you so condescending? It's not acceptable for you, a housewife, to act so high and mighty." Kevin was glaring at me with anger seeping through. However, the moment he saw the two women in the room, his expression suddenly changed. "What, Mom? And Mia too? Why are both of you here?" "Why? Because you behave irresponsibly. You sold Jenny's house without permission, and on top of that, you cheated on her. Unbelievable. I didn't raise you to be like this." "Wait a minute, Kevin, what's this about? Did you tell them about us? If I end up having to pay compensation, you'll take responsibility, right?" Kevin's words caused his mother and Mia to confront him. At that moment, feeling the tension in the room, Thompson, the lawyer, began to speak calmly. "Thank you all for gathering here. My name is Thompson, and I am Jenny's lawyer. I will now provide an explanation, so please bear with me." The room fell silent at Thompson's words. He began to speak in a calm tone about the shocking discovery I made in Kevin's room 3 weeks ago. The first thing I found was the contract for the sale of the house that Kevin had sold using a forged power of attorney. I had never imagined that he would go so far as to sell our house. And that was not all that was discovered. There were numerous photos of Kevin dating an unknown woman. There were also photos of them traveling together, appearing close like a couple. In other words, Kevin had quit his job without telling me, and not only was he gambling at the casino, but he was also having an affair. Upon learning this, I immediately hired a detective to investigate the woman's background. The detective's report revealed that the woman's name was Mia, and she knew Kevin was married yet continued the relationship. And that is why I intend to divorce Kevin. Since you cheated, you have no right to object. Naturally, I will also demand compensation for infidelity from Kevin and Mia. As I spoke calmly, Kevin could not hide his dismay. Wait, divorce? Why are we talking about this? Mia was just a fling. At Kevin's self-centered remark, Mia was shocked. Wait, what do you mean by just a fling? You told me you had lost feelings for your wife and that we would marry after the divorce without getting caught. Now that it's all out and there's a demand for compensation, the story is completely different. I never seriously thought about such a thing. There's no way I'd marry someone like you. What? The two began an embarrassing argument without regard for those around, but I had no time to engage in such foolish drama. Thompson intervened to stop them and continued the discussion. The compensation Kevin is supposed to pay is not just for the affair. What? What do you mean? You have been using money selfishly. Jenny has been paying all the living expenses, and she has also been doing the housework and caregiving. Furthermore, she has even been bearing the medical expenses for Kevin's mother. We will also add this to the claim for compensation. As Thompson explained calmly, Kevin was astonished and retorted, "What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. I was indeed gambling, but I was working properly until recently. There's no way Jenny, who is a housewife, could pay for living and medical expenses." Kevin said this as he looked down on me. I took over the conversation and began to explain. Indeed, I am a housewife at home. However, I'm not dependent on you financially. Kevin, I have rental income from a condo my father left me. I used that income to buy our house and cover daily expenses and medical costs for Kevin's mother. Didn't I tell you this when we got married? Don't you remember? Well, I might have heard that story. I completely forgot. Kevin mumbled in astonishment. However, I did not intend to give him a chance to recover. I continued the conversation. In short, you left everything related to the house and living expenses up to me. As compensation, you'll have to pay everything properly, and once we're divorced, I won't bear the medical costs for your mother. You'll have to manage it yourself. What? You think you have the right to say such cold things? Kevin, stop. Don't you realize how disgraceful you are right now? But Mom, no buts. Just do as Jenny says. What a disgraceful son you are. Kevin lashed out at me, and his mother scolded him. Mia also expressed her dissatisfaction with Kevin's actions. The office was in chaos, but Thompson remained impressively calm. He expertly settled the situation and organized everything. Ultimately, it's impossible for Kevin to prevent the divorce. Moreover, both Kevin and Mia cannot escape paying compensation to Jenny. You could hire a lawyer to try to reduce the amount, but I wouldn't recommend it. And Kevin, it's only natural that you should bear your mother's hospital expenses from now on. No one could argue Thompson's firm words. Filled with resentment, Kevin stared at me as he signed the divorce papers and the contract regarding the compensation payment. Mia, expressing her dissatisfaction, signed the contract as well, and the two left the room. Jenny, I'm truly sorry about Kevin. I will make sure the compensation is paid properly. No, Mother, there's no need for you to apologize. Please take care of yourself. At the end of our conversation, my mother-in-law apologized and left the room. With this incident, I managed to clear a major crisis in my life. Since then, I have been living peacefully in the mansion worth $1 million that my father left me. This house was originally one of the properties my father owned, and the rent is not very high. Since the security is very good, I have no worries even though it's a detached house. Even if Kevin discovers this place, I have no concerns. On the other hand, his situation after our divorce seems to be extremely difficult. It appears that Kevin has run out of savings due to the compensation he has to pay me, as Mia doesn't have a job. They did end up getting married after that. However, such circumstances cannot possibly make them happy. Kevin's act of selling the house on his own is clearly illegal. I would never allow that. Jenny, what the hell is going on? The police are at my house right now. Why am I being arrested? That's because you have committed fraud, right? I haven't done anything wrong. What's the problem with a husband selling his wife's property? I'm more important than you, so it's my rightful authority, right? The police don't understand anything, Jenny. Explain to them. Hurry up or I will really be arrested. You don't want that to happen, do you? When the police visited Kevin's home, he panicked and contacted me. However, why do I need to sympathize with him? I believe he should be arrested, so I went to consult with the police along with Thompson. I'm not familiar with the law at all, so I don't know what crimes Kevin could be charged with. It might be imprisonment or a fine, but his future will certainly be restricted. Hey, Jenny, help me. Didn't you love me? You might not have feelings anymore, but have mercy on me. You brought this upon yourself, right? As I've said before, don't contact me over trivial matters. We are no longer related, and I am busy. Why would you say such a terrible thing? Kevin was whining on the other end of the phone, but it was his own doing. I have no intention of helping him. Instead, I am currently focusing on finding a new job. While the income from what my father left is secure, I also want to engage with society. Now that I no longer need to take care of my mother-in-law, I have more free time. For now, I am considering returning to the industry I previously worked in. And once my job stabilizes, I think it would be nice to get a pet. I want to enjoy my life from now on in this way.
Why are you even in this house? You're like a parasite, living off of us here. What are you doing? No sooner had I spoken than my mother-in-law threw my belongings out of the window. I protested her insane actions. What did you say? Don't you dare talk back to me. Can you pick my stuff up, please? My mother-in-law put a knife to my throat. I was so scared that I couldn't move and just stood there. Get out, or this won't just be a game anymore. I understand. If that's the case, I'll leave immediately. My mother-in-law had been tormenting me since we started living together, but she doesn't know that I am the one supporting this house. The fear I felt earlier vanished. In my heart, I thought, if you've got what it takes, then prove it. I'll give you a week. I expect you to be out of here by then. Thank you. I showed respect to my mother-in-law, but I couldn't suppress my laughter. I quickly put on a straight face, hoping that she didn't notice. This will bring peace back to our home. I'm so happy. Yes, indeed. How ignorant my mother-in-law is. She doesn't realize that far from peace, my departure will bring her trouble. Leaving my mother-in-law in the family home, I moved to a high-rise apartment. Eventually, she will learn the truth, but it will be too late by then. I am Valerie Reynolds. Applying my past work experience, I now work from home. It's been 5 years since I married Justin. I was supposed to be living a peaceful and happy life. Are you okay? Are you really all right? I'm sorry. I never expected this to happen. I'm just thankful you're alive. But with this, things might become even more difficult for you. Don't worry about me. I cried in the hospital room, not caring who saw me, grateful that my husband was alive. That's because he had been involved in an accident at his construction site and lost most of the use of his dominant arm. When I had first heard the news, my mind went blank. Oh, mother, are you okay? Justin, my mother-in-law arrived and rushed to my husband's side, pushing me aside. It seemed that she didn't even notice me. We don't exactly have a bad relationship, but sometimes she prioritizes my husband over everything else. This time was no exception. Oh, Valerie, you're here. I didn't notice you. I arrived just a moment ago, but, oh, did you? Well, anyway, Justin, why don't you come and stay with me at my place from now on? Eh? I let out a surprised exclamation at this unexpected proposal. Hearing that, my mother-in-law gave me a cold look. What's wrong? Do you have a problem with that? No, it's not that. It's just a bit sudden. With my son like this, I can't leave everything up to you. I was irritated by her words. I thought that there was no need for her to say that. Then my husband said, Valerie has been working hard all this time. That's why I trust her going forward. Thank you. My mother-in-law seemed to make a displeased noise. I couldn't hear it clearly, but she obviously looked unhappy. However, I couldn't back down either. Well, anyway, come to the house as soon as you're discharged from the hospital. Of course, you're invited to, Valerie. That goes without saying. I could predict what would happen if everything were left up to my mother-in-law. By the way, Valerie, I'm leaving all the moving arrangements to you. Everything? That's a bit much. She's right. It's too much for one person to handle alone. Mom, please help her out somehow. I was hoping that he would insist more strongly. However, it seemed like my mother-in-law had no intention of helping and ignored my husband's words. I have my own things to do, you know. My mother-in-law smirked at me from an angle that my husband couldn't see. It felt very ominous. And so, our life living with my mother-in-law began. A month later, my husband was discharged from the hospital. I was busy with the move, so I left picking him up to my mother-in-law. After all, she was the one who had given the instructions for cleaning things up. As I hurried to finish the cleaning, my mother-in-law came and said, "Aren't you done yet? I told you today was Justin's discharge day, and yet you didn't even come to pick him up. But that's because you see Justin, just like I said, right? This person only thinks about herself. That's not true." My mother-in-law's intention was clear. She was trying to make me look bad in front of my husband. I decided not to take her obvious bait. Looking at my husband, he had a warm and understanding look in his eyes. Come on, Mom, stop this. It's unsightly. I'm doing this for your sake. Well, no one asked you to. Wait, the sight of my mother-in-law running after my husband was comically pathetic. I almost let out a laugh. When she noticed that, she glared at me with an evil expression. Not that her glare meant anything to me. Justin, you can just take it easy and relax at home from now on. That's impossible. My right hand might not work, but I don't want to be a burden on Valerie. I can understand that, but you've also just been discharged from the hospital. Still, I can be satisfied if I don't do something. Justin was adamant. Initially, I had hoped he would take some time to relax, but seeing his determination, I decided to respect his wishes. Doing everything at once might be too much. So how about starting with some light cleaning? It could be good for rehabilitation. That's a good idea. I don't know if this hand will ever fully recover, but it's better than doing nothing. But on one condition. Don't overdo it. Got it. I wouldn't want to be scolded. It's scary to make you angry. What do you mean? Justin acted as if nothing was wrong. It was clear that he didn't want to make me worry. That's why I resolved to work even harder for the both of us. But I had forgotten about one person who would interfere. Valerie, wait a minute. What's the matter? Why is Justin cleaning? He wanted to help out. You must have forced him to do it, right? Your words are just a front. My mother-in-law judged things only by what she saw. She was oblivious to the underlying thoughts and emotions. Dealing with that was a challenge in itself. You're always just cooped up in your room, playing around. Honestly, in such a situation, with your husband seriously injured. Actually, I'm working. It's called remote work these days. Humph, I've had enough of that excuse. It's not an excuse. Just then, my mother-in-law grabbed a nearby trash can and threw it at me. Luckily, it didn't hit me directly, but the trash went everywhere. I lost the energy to explain things to her further. It was clear from the start that she had no intention of listening. This trash is disgusting. Clean it up yourself. As I sighed and started picking it up, Justin approached me and asked, "Hey, what happened?" "Oh, this is just a small incident." I replied with a forced smile, but Justin seemed to have realized something. He usually appears calm, but sometimes he's surprisingly perceptive. "Did Mom do something?" Are you hiding something? Can you be honest with me?" Justin was looking at me with a serious expression. Seeing his face, I felt that I couldn't lie. So, I told him what had happened. "Got it. I'll talk to Mom about this." "Oh, it's fine, you really. But it's not okay. I'll talk to her properly." "No, but that is." I was happy to get his help, but I was worried about what would come next. In the end, I would be the one blamed. I stared at the ceiling, deep in thought. Night camel. I thought Valerie was just playing around. That's not true. Valerie has been working hard, even doing my share. Then why were you cleaning? I offered to do it. I can't just sit around doing nothing at home. But you just got out of the hospital. I know my own body best. Justin's stern words silenced his mother. She might not have expected her son to speak to her like that. But if she really does think that she's above such things, she's just arrogant. I hoped that this would calm her down a bit. That day, Justin went out for rehabilitation, leaving me alone with my mother-in-law. As I was working in my room as usual, she showed up. "Can we talk?" "Sorry, can you wait just a bit?" "About 15 more minutes." "No, I can't wait. Right now." "All right, I'm coming." Hurried along, I went to the living room where an unknown woman was waiting for us. "Excuse me, who is this?" "Have a seat first. We'll talk after that." I had no choice but to follow my mother-in-law, but I couldn't grasp the situation. As I was trying to figure it out, the woman started speaking. "So this is the one you were talking about, the wife who just plays around without working." "Yes, it's true." My mother-in-law was laughing eerily. "So, you realize that you're an unnecessary presence in this house?" "What are you talking about?" Looking around, I saw them sighing. I didn't understand. Suddenly confronted by a stranger and put down as the target of blame. If I could, I would have left that place in an instant. "Don't you understand? Unnecessary people are not needed here." "What do you mean?" Everyone answers that way. More perplexing questions followed. They kept insisting on how incompetent I was. Enduring such accusations could mentally exhaust anyone. "Isn't it time you realized your place? Shouldn't I be asking you? How dare a daughter-in-law defy her mother-in-law? Spending time on such unproductive things. Isn't it a waste of time?" "What?" The nerve of a daughter-in-law. Really now. I felt like I was reaching my limit. I didn't know what my mother-in-law would do if she got angrier. That's when I came up with an idea. "Oh, isn't it about time that Justin comes back from rehab? Is it that time already?" Just then, the unknown woman left quickly. "I'll come again soon." "Okay, I'll be waiting for you. Let's talk again." My mother-in-law and her friend were fooled. In reality, Justin wouldn't be home for another hour. It was just getting good. Speaking of which, who was that woman? I finally asked a question that had been on my mind. "That's Susan, a close friend of mine. She wanted to meet you after hearing about you." It wasn't hard to guess how my mother-in-law had introduced me. Probably as a useless wife who does nothing but play around. I pitied my mother-in-law for doing nothing else but that. So, that's the case. Well, Justin will be back a bit later. I'm going back to work now. As I was about to return to my room, she said, "Wait, what do you mean?" Just as I said, "He's not coming back yet." You lied. You didn't realize. Why do you act like this? I decided to use this opportunity to speak my mind. Any further interference from my mother-in-law would just be a nuisance. Actually, you were the one who started things, right? You called your friend because you can't do anything alone? That's not true. I can handle you fine by myself. Then why don't you try? See if you really can. I deliberately provoked my mother-in-law. I thought this would prompt her to take some action. And as expected, she reacted. If you want to apologize, now is the time. I have no such intention. At that, my mother-in-law exploded in anger, grabbing a nearby vase and throwing it at me like she had previously thrown the trash can. I had anticipated it and easily dodged. I even showed a provocative smile. Hello, I'm home. Just then, Justin came back. My mother-in-law was visibly shaken. Why are you home already? It's not time yet. Oh, sorry. I lied earlier. I was actually on my way back. Why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? I said this while pointing to the shattered vase. I couldn't help but find the situation amusing. Hey, what's this? What happened? Your mom threw it at me. What do you mean? You know, a lady just came over, claiming to be your mom's friend. I told Justin everything that happened. He showed a mix of being surprised and angry. Is that true? Mom, well, so it's true then. Why would you do that? I didn't mean to. Watching my mother-in-law being scolded, I felt a sense of retribution for all the hardships I had endured. Well, I have something to do, so. Okay, wait. I ignored my mother-in-law's words and returned to my room. I thought this would end her bullying. I truly believed it. After that, calm days continued for a while, but having stayed up all night, I dozed off past noon. Then, sorry to wake you, but can you come here for a moment? Okay, sure. Justin seemed unusually serious. My mother-in-law was there in the living room. What's going on? Look at this. I looked at the table to find a disassembled plastic model scattered about. It was one of Justin's hobbies, and he had treasured it. When I came home, it was like this. Do you know anything? No, I have no clue. I couldn't think of any reason for it. This plastic model was in my father-in-law's room before. But of course, I hadn't been in that room today, nor had I entered it recently. Someone must have broken it for it to be like this. My eyes naturally turned towards my mother-in-law. She was the only suspect. My mother-in-law had a strange, eerie smile on her face, like she was possessed. I understood the situation. Even if someone broke it, I was out. I met Justin on my way back from Susan's place, remember? Yes, but... And then, I found this in the room. My mother-in-law was holding a shiny object. Is that an earring? I instinctively checked my own ears. My left earring was missing. I was certain of my suspicions. It was clear revenge on me for last time. This is yours, isn't it, Valerie? And it looks like only the left one is missing. I took a deep breath. Showing anger now would mean that I would be playing into her hands. Indeed, it's mine. But isn't it premature to conclude that I broke it? Making excuses is so unbecoming. We have evidence. Still, anyway, it's broken. Wait a minute. Justin left the room. At that moment, my mother-in-law's gaze was fixed on me. The situation made me feel like Justin saw me as a criminal, and I just stood there, stunned. It's a shame. This would have been the end of you if you did it. You set a trap, didn't you? You'll find no evidence anywhere. If only you had followed my advice, this wouldn't have happened. If I explain things to him properly, he'll understand. Will he? Her words became reality. No matter how much I insisted to Justin that it wasn't my fault, he wouldn't take me seriously. Wait, I haven't done anything wrong. Maybe. I get it. He immediately averted his gaze. Laughter echoed from behind us. See, I told you so. What does that matter? It's sad that you don't want to admit defeat. After that, I immersed myself in work. It was almost like escaping from reality. Conversations with Justin became less frequent, and about 2 weeks went by. During this time, my mother-in-law seemed quite pleased with herself. You seem down lately. Is there something troubling you? There's no need for you to worry. Please stop. It's too late for that. Acting tough is useless. On this day, my mother-in-law was in an especially good mood. My feeling of foreboding came true, eventually becoming reality. It happened while I was cleaning the room. Why are you even in this house? You're like a parasite, living off of us here. What's gotten into you all of a sudden? You always talk back. Such a noisy daughter-in-law. After saying that, she threw my belongings out of the window. What are you doing? I protested her insane actions. What's gotten into me? You're too noisy. Always talking back. Can you pick my stuff up, please? As I said that, my mother-in-law put a knife to my throat. I was frozen in fear, unable to move. It's better if you stay still. A normal person wouldn't do this, but my mother-in-law was clearly deranged. If you don't leave now, next time it won't be just a joke. I understand. I'll leave. It was evident that staying would only drag me further in her madness. You have a week. Leave before then. Thank you. This was an opportunity to escape. A week was enough time to prepare. My mother-in-law didn't understand. Who truly supports this house? She lives comfortably and leisurely thanks to me. She really knows nothing. Pack up quickly. Yes, I'll start right away. A smile formed on my lips as I bowed my head, but I couldn't let her suspect anything. I quickly composed my face. This will bring peace back to our home. I'm so happy. Yes, indeed. I wondered if she really understood. Without me, real hell awaited her. I immediately started arranging my move. My belongings could be sorted, but finding a new place to live was the priority. After my mother-in-law had gone to bed, I explained the situation to Justin. I see. So it has come to this. Actually, I have something to tell you too. His serious tone made me raise my voice in surprise. What? Yes, various things. We'll talk about it later. Okay, we absolutely will. 3 days after being told to leave the house by my mother-in-law, I found a new place. And now, the promised week was almost up. Well, today's the day of the promise. You understand, right? Yes, the movers are scheduled to arrive soon. Finally. And where's Justin? He seems to have gone out since this morning. Well, never mind. The thought of not having to see your face anymore is enough. I'm going out now, make sure everything's clean. Understood. I saw my mother-in-law off with a smile on my face, but not one from the heart. An hour later, the moving company arrived and loaded all my belongings. I contacted Justin. All packed up. Got it. Just make sure you get there safely. Okay. See you later. I ended the call. I was excited to think about what would happen when my mother-in-law returned. I couldn't wait to arrive at my new home. Finally, the moment of completing the move arrived. What have you done? I just did as I was told. That can't be. Justin's belongings are nowhere to be found. Of course. We moved out together. No way. Do you want to check with him? I got out my phone, set it to the speaker, and handed it to my mother-in-law, who still couldn't grasp the situation. This was my plan all along. Mom? Justin? What's happening? Tell me. Actually, about the model kit incident. We know that you did it. There's no way Valerie would do such a thing. Why do you think that? Because it was a gift from Valerie. She wouldn't break it on purpose. Justin was right. The broken model was a gift I had given him. A limited edition that I had lined up early in the morning to buy for him. In other words, Justin knew everything from the beginning and was testing you. That's right. I wanted to see how badly you were treating Valerie. No way. From now on, you will have to manage on your own. We'll be living happily in our high-rise apartment. What? In a high-rise apartment? Weren't you just playing around every day? My mother-in-law seemed to have no grasp on the situation. I had thought she understood a bit more, but her lack of understanding was beyond belief. By the way, I've been paying for our living expenses up till now. I thought Justin was taking care of that. How could he when he's been at home? A little thought would have made that clear to you. My mother-in-law was at a loss for words. She was probably shocked to realize that she had been supported by the very person she had been mistreating. She was the one who misunderstood. Well then, you'll have to manage on your own from here on out. But I don't work. If you two leave me, that's the choice you made, Mom. It's no longer our business. Well, it's time for each of us to do our best. You're just going to leave your mother? What? No, we wouldn't do that. We were living separately to begin with. So, goodbye. Justin ended the call. Both of us felt relieved. We had hoped for a good relationship at first, but quickly gave up. After all, my mother-in-law chose her own fate. But why did you keep it a secret? About that. What? About what? About mom. Oh, that. It's like they say, deceive your allies to deceive your enemy. Haha, you can't mean enemy. We looked at each other and burst out laughing. Now we could finally have a peaceful life together. About a month later. Yes, what is it? Valerie, I tried, but I can't do it alone. What are you talking about? It's only been a month, right? There's still a long way to go. Keep up the good work. No, you don't understand. Let's both do our best. Bye. My mother-in-law was desperately seeking support, but it wasn't going to be that easy. Justin had already blocked her number, so she could only contact me. No matter how much she called, I just brushed her off coldly. Do you need help with the luggage? Thank you, that would be great. But is your right hand okay? Oh, this. I've recently started to be able to use it a bit more. Really? Wow. Justin has been full of surprises recently, but I'm filled with joy. My mother-in-law's situation didn't matter anymore. From now on, we are going to put only our own happiness first.